Okay, what I want to do is ask 11 of you the age of the youngest person in your family. Okay, so when I call your name, tell me the age of the youngest person in your family. Well, let's just start it. Does anybody have anybody that's 1 in their family? How about 2, 3, 4, 5? Got a 5-year-old, okay? So I got one 5-year-old. Oh, I got a 5-year-old too. No, I'm a 5-year-old too. How about 6, 7? 7-year-old. How about 8, 9? Just one 9-year-old. You got twins or something? Let me know. 10. 1. I have a 10-year-old. 11, 12, 13. 4 13-year-olds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's what I was looking for. Okay, 11 numbers. What we're going to do is find the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary is simply the median, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, the maximum, and the minimum. So really, you've already learned how to do this, but I just want to run through it one more time. If there's 11 numbers, that's an odd number of numbers. There's going to be one number in the middle. Which number will be in the middle? Notice you got to have them in order before you can start this process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 10. That's our 6th number. You got 5 numbers below. 5 numbers above. So 10 is our median, otherwise known as our 2nd quartile, Q sub 2. Probably more often we call it the median than anything else. So the median is our first number in our 5-number summary. Our Q sub 1, if you've got 5 numbers in the bottom half here, find the middle number, which would be which number? 7. That's your Q sub 1, your lower quartile. Up here you've got 5 numbers. Your middle number is going to be a 13. That's your Q sub 3. Then the other 2 things that are included in your 5-number summary are your minimum, your lowest number, which is 5. That's your minimum. And your maximum, which is 13.
That's all we have to do.
That's it. Pretty easy. They say find the 5-number summary. You find the minimum, the maximum, the Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay? Now to graph it. To graph it, you have to draw a number line. Just do the best you can to space your numbers apart equally. So looks like 10's kind of in the middle somewhat, so let's do 10. Space them equally, 11, 12, 13. That's the highest you have to go. I have to go down to 5, so 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And you start with your minimum, and we're going to put a dot at 5. You put it up above like this. Put a dot up here at 5. Draw a line until you get to 7. Like that. Then you're going to create a box. At 10, put another line. Like that. At 13, put another line. Your box looks like this. And then another whisker. Normally the whisker would go out to the maximum, but in this case there's not even going to be a whisker because the maximum's right at 13. Just put a dot right there. Normally there would be another whisker there. There's not a whisker because Q3 and maximum are the exact same number. So this dot represents your minimum. And you can write it next to it like that if you want. This is your Q1, which is 7. This is your Q2 or your median, which is 10. This is your Q3, which is 13. And that's your max, which is also 13. Okay, but you do need to draw a number line underneath of it and keep things spaced equally. We'd probably call this skewed left, if anything, because it's the whisker stretched to the left and there's no whisker on the right. It's not real obvious. If you see something like this, a long whisker, especially if it's got a long box like this, and maybe something like that would be skewed left. And we've talked about skewedness with histograms, but never with box and whisker plots. So skewed right would look something like this. Sometimes it's kind of in between, it's hard to tell. Skewed right means the right half of the box is stretched out and the right whisker is stretched out, or one or the other. This is symmetric, it looks like this. The right and left boxes are about the same size, and the right and left whiskers are about the same size. That'd be a symmetric box and whisker plot. So we have skewed left, skewed right. Here's one key thing to understand about box and whisker plots. This is the bottom 25% of the data, from Q1 to Q2, or excuse me, from the minimum to Q1, that's the bottom 25%. This is the next 25%. Right in here, there's another 25% of the data, and here's another 25% of the data. So there's a lot of data piled up together right here, close together, in this skewed left one. Because a fourth of the data is squeezed into that little area. Same thing here. Where here the data is more spread out. With the skewed right, you've got a fourth of your data piled up, a lot of data right in that little area. A lot of data piled up here. Here the data is going to spread out, here the data is going to spread out. Any questions about box and whisker plots?
What's it mean when it says find the inner quartile range?
Inner quartile range, that's what I was doing here. Q3 minus Q1, yep. So yeah, you might be asked to do that today too. And on the picture, like looking at this one, what's the inner quartile range? Glad you asked that. From the picture, you can see what the inner quartile range is, I think. Right, 13 minus 7. So you take your Q3 minus your Q1. That's just going to give you how long your box is. Your box goes from 13 to 7, so your box is 6 units long. The inner quartile range, it's the length of your box, ignoring the whiskers.
You only have to graph it to say so.
Yes, that's right. Yep.